In the sweltering embrace of summer, Stonehaven City lay parched under an unyielding sun. The air shimmered with heat, rising like waves from the cracked asphalt, while the once vibrant parks stood as ghostly reminders of a life once lush. The drought had siphoned the reservoirs dry, and desperate whispers of water restrictions swept through neighborhoods like a haunting melody, leaving families on edge and communities frayed at the seams. Amid this turmoil stood David Monroe, a dedicated city engineer with weary eyes and a heart weighed down by the burden of responsibility. The relentless tide of grievances washed over him daily. "Why can't you fix this?" a mother cried, cradling her parched child. "We pay taxes, and we're dying out here," a father shouted, desperation etched across his face. "Do your job, Monroe," the crowd roared, their anger rising like the heat from the ground. David felt the weight of the city's anger pressing down on him, a heavy cloak that seemed to tighten with every passing day. He had poured countless hours into searching for solutions, but red tape, political wrangling, and a lack of funding thwarted every noble attempt. The pressure bore down on him like the sun overhead, relentless and unforgiving. His wife Linda often pleaded with him to rest, but his mind was a whirlwind of plans and possibilities, with the cries of the residents echoing in his ears. One evening, the tension reached a boiling point at a town hall meeting. The room crackled with indignation as frustrated residents hurled accusations. In a moment of overwhelming emotion, David slammed his hand against the podium, the sound reverberating through the hall. "Fine, you want water? I'll give you water," he shouted, his voice a mix of anger and despair. With that, he stormed out, his frustration spilling over like a dam about to break. But rather than surrender to the despair that threatened to engulf him, David retreated to his office, fueled by an insatiable determination. He began to sketch out a bold plan, one that hinged on an old, forgotten pipeline buried beneath the city. It was risky, audacious, and it flew in the face of all the doubts cast upon him. Yet the thought of his neighbor's suffering ignited a fire within him. His team exchanged skeptical glances, and the city council scoffed at his audacity. But David pressed on, fueled by sleepless nights spent poring over maps and engineering designs. The days morphed into weeks, and the heat bore down as he labored tirelessly. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. With a series of triumphant clicks and hisses, the water began to flow, gushing through the revitalized pipes and into the parched streets of Stonehaven. Cheers erupted as the first drops fell into the waiting hands of children, splashing joyfully in makeshift fountains, their laughter ringing out like music in the dry air. The city, once languishing in despair, began to blossom with life and hope. Yet, through the jubilant celebrations, David stood quietly apart, a humble observer of the transformation he had ignited. In that moment, he realized that true leadership isn't just about finding solutions under pressure. It's about how you navigate the storm while carrying the weight of others' hopes and fears. Sometimes, the rock may give water, but it also imparts invaluable lessons that shape who we become. David Monroe learned that even in the harshest of droughts, resilience and determination could bring forth a river of hope.